Does ignoring women make you more attractive? That's what we're getting into today in this video. We've all heard that kind of thing before, or maybe if you're trying to get your ex back, you've heard the phrase, oh, you got to go no contact. And basically where you're just like totally hands off, you're pretending they don't exist, and somehow that's supposed to magically up their attraction level and bring them right back to you. Does that work? And if so, is that manipulative? And if it's not, how do we execute it successfully? Hi, I'm Jeff Campbell from DivorcedParentsClub.com, and I'm on a mission to help other divorced guys navigate this world that we now find ourselves in. I got dumped in April of 2021, and I've had to figure a lot of stuff out along the way of getting divorced and now dating again, and I'm here to help you figure out the things that I've figured out along my journey. I'm glad you're here with me. So first, let's talk about why ignoring girls makes you more attractive. How does that work to up their attraction level? Well, as the saying goes, and I've heard this saying from Coach Corey Wayne, a guy I love on YouTube. I'm not sure if he coined the phrase though. I have heard the phrase that the quickest way to get someone else's attention is to remove your attention. And I have found that to be true. The woman that is now my girlfriend, we went out on our first date about a little over 3 months ago. And then I struggled to get her to commit to a second date. And eventually I gave up. And then she texted me and she said that she didn't think we were compatible, but she wanted to just be friends. And I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. And I didn't text her again for any reason. And then lo and behold, maybe 4 or 5 days after that, she texted me and wanted to try again in a romantic sense, not a friend sense, because I wasn't really interested in just being a friend. I really liked her from a romantic perspective, and that was really all I was interested in. When she said she wasn't feeling it, then I just didn't do anything further. Didn't text her, didn't call her, didn't stalk her on social media, anything like that. I basically ignored her, pretended she didn't exist, and I focused more on the other women that I was dating as well, because I was dating multiple people at that time. I'm not anymore. But that lack of attention from me just sort of somehow did work to bring her back to me. Now we've been dating a little over 3 months, and now she's definitely my girlfriend, and we definitely are exclusive with one another. So why did that work? For one, there's ego at play. We all want something, right? We want what we want. And when someone tells us we can't have it, that just kind of makes us want it more. It's just kind of a psychological trick. If you're at a restaurant and you order the burger and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we just ran out of burgers. That kind of makes us want that burger even more. And we get kind of angry or frustrated that we can't have it. You're like, what do you mean I can't have what I want? Brings us back to that kind of childhood, like, throwing a temper tantrum when you don't get your way kind of thing. And it's just a psychological trick that works. There's another saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And that's kind of along the same line. So you remove your attention and it makes her attention grow, assuming there was a certain level of attraction there to begin with. It's not going to make attraction just grow out of nothing. And as they say, attraction isn't really a choice. We can't really help who we are attracted to. If we are attracted to someone, that attractiveness can grow or shrink, but ignoring someone isn't going to make them suddenly find you attractive if they never did in the first place. The next question people have is, should you ignore a woman if she ignores you? And the answer is absolutely yes. Going back to Coach Corey Wayne that I mentioned a minute ago, another thing that he says is that you need to match and mirror the woman's behavior in the early stages of dating and kind of getting to know them. Once you're in a long-term committed relationship, I wouldn't necessarily do that. But in the early stages, if you notice her pulling back, she's not texting as often as she used to, she's not calling as often as she used to, she's taking longer to respond to your text, that kind of thing, you do want to match and mirror her behavior. If she takes 2 hours to respond to your text, you take 2 hours to respond to hers. And in a way, that is kind of playing games, and it is maybe a little bit manipulative, but it also really works. And if that's how she's treating you, you should treat her the same way so that she begins to feel what that feels like. And if you don't want to play those kind of games, then this probably isn't the right person for you, and you should just call it a day and move on to somebody else. Real quick, if you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, hit that like button, then smash the subscribe button and the bell notification button too. That way, It helps YouTube know what kind of videos you like, and it helps me grow my channel and help more people. So I mentioned manipulation a second ago. So is ignoring a woman to get her attention, is that manipulative? And the short answer is it can be. But what is manipulation? Manipulation is basically where you're lying or deceiving someone in order to get something from them. And I don't want you to behave that way. I don't want you to do anything that compromises your values. I don't want you to lie or deceive someone. So all I'm really talking about here is reducing or eliminating the amount of contact that is initiated by you. And that's not lying or deceptive. If a woman texts you, you should absolutely respond. I'm not at all suggesting that you completely ignore communication from her. What I am suggesting is that, let's say you're dating someone and you've been going out maybe 2 or 3 times and you begin to notice that she's not as responsive as she had been. Now, we don't know the reasons why that is. In many cases, it might be because the guy is becoming too smothering, too clingy, too needy, or in too much of a hurry to kind of label their relationship. At this point, it's not even really a relationship, but a lot of guys kind of, we're visual creatures. We see a woman, we go out with her, and we hit it off, and she's really sexy and attractive, and we immediately start coming up with our kids' names, and maybe we're browsing engagement rings online, and that we jump the gun. That's just what a lot of guys do. Most healthy, emotionally well-balanced women are going to be turned off by that behavior and run in the opposite direction. So as the guy, you need to take things slow, take a deep breath, acknowledge that you're just here to have fun and kind of get to know each other and enjoy the ride, and then eventually let the woman decide if you're going to be in a relationship, if you're going to be boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're going to take things to the next level. That needs to be the woman's decision, and you need to just kind of be prepared to go along with the ride and kind of be easygoing until she gets to those places. Often that might take 2 months or more for her to get there, but you need to let her be in the driver's seat of that. So from that standpoint, it's not manipulative because you're not deceiving her, you're not lying to her, you're not being emotionally abusive in any way. But if she has pulled back, and again, we don't necessarily know, it could be because you were being too needy and too clingy, but we don't really know. Maybe she has an ex that came back into the picture that had dumped her, and now she's feeling an attraction back towards him. We don't really know what's going on. But what we do know, and what you can control, is the amount of attention you're giving her. So if you're noticing that she's not as responsive as she used to be, it's taking her longer to get back with you, then you need to do those same things with her. You need to let her miss you. And the only way to let her miss you is by pulling your attention back. If you're constantly calling, constantly texting, constantly commenting or liking on her social media, then you're not giving her an opportunity to miss you because you're always there. So you've got to pull back to allow her time and space to miss you. Now, if you allow her time and space and it doesn't change, then that means her attraction level has dropped to a level that probably means it's time to cut your losses and move on. But in most cases, if her attraction level is high enough, then she's going to start to miss you. She's going to start wondering, well, he used to call or text, a couple times a day, and I haven't heard from him for 3 days. Why is that? And it's naturally going to pique her interest. She's naturally going to want to reach out to you and connect with you because she's actually missing you. And that's what you want. That's why this works. So now let's talk for a minute about the no contact rule. We hear that a lot, and there's a million videos on YouTube about the no contact rule. So first, let's quickly define what that means. So in this example, we're going to be talking about an ex who dumped you, an ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, that kind of thing. And they dumped you, and now you go no contact. And what I mean by that is for anywhere from 25 to 41 days is typically what people say, you are not going to initiate any contact with them whatsoever. No calls, no texts. You're not going to go to their social media. You're certainly not going to like or comment on anything on social media. You're also not going to be asking mutual friends about them. It's basically as if they don't exist whatsoever. And if you don't do that, if you kind of like occasionally like something on Instagram or something like that, or they can see that you're looking at their TikTok or their Instagram stories or something like that, then it's not really going to be anywhere near as effective because you seem a little needy and stalkerish at that point. You really want to go zero contact with them whatsoever for at least 25 days. That way, they do begin to wonder about you. They do begin to like, hey, where did he go? I thought he was really into me, and it gets them wondering about you. That's naturally going to raise up their attraction level for you. That's what you want. That's why the no contact rule works. Of course, in some cases, like I'll give you an example. Back when I got dumped by my now ex-wife in April of 2021, initially I was totally blindsided by it. I was totally shell-shocked, didn't see it coming, and of course for a while I did actually want her back. But we have 3 kids together, and we lived together for about 10 months following her announcement. So there was no way to go no contact. So then it becomes a situation that they refer to as limited no contact, where you do have something that ties you together that's going to prevent you from being completely no contact. And that's what we did. In my case, that did not work. It was obvious in a relatively short time that she was not going to budge on her decision to divorce me at all. Therefore, I didn't want to waste time and energy and heartache pining for something that wasn't going to happen. I did for maybe 4 or 5 months hope for that, and I worked towards that. I focused on myself and being the best version of me that I could be, in the hopes that that would be enough to attract her back, but it did not work. And after a while, I recognized that it did not work. I recognized that there was no reason to continue to go down that path, because that was a losing path. So I stopped doing that, and I looked to the future, moved on. We ended up getting divorced. We have a fairly amicable co-parenting relationship now, and we're both pretty happy, and we've moved on, and we're in a good place. But if the no contact rule is going to work, you've got to apply it as successfully as you can, which means have as little contact as possible. Definitely no social media contact, that kind of thing. No calls, no texts. I do want you to respond, though, if they call or text you. But again, match and mirror their behavior. If she texts you something and you respond, and she takes an hour to respond to your response, you're going to wait an hour before you send anything back. You always want it to seem like your interest level is slightly below hers, because that's going to get her thinking more. It's going to trigger her ego. Well, like, why isn't he texting me back like he used to? And it's naturally going to pique her interest. That's going to raise her attraction level for you, and that's what you want. Because if you want to get your ex back, you've got to raise her attraction level back up to what it used to be, or higher. Because if her attraction level is low and you seem a little bit needy, a little bit desperate, a little bit clingy, she's never going to see her attraction level come up, and she's never going to want to come back to you. So that's why the no contact rule works. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, leave me a comment down below. Also, if you have something you'd like to see in a future video, leave me that down below in the comments as well. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.